first thing is just map out like you're speaking to a public crowd, right? So whether I was selling coupons when I was 14, or homes later on, or signs after that, and now mortgages for like 8 years, it's always something different, right? But the core is kind of the same, right? So this is something you guys should look at and kind of dissect on everything. And I swear if you break it down into some of these components, it will make things like so easy. And I have too much to share now, so we'll have to do it in small chunks. So a sales path is just like a keynote speaker. You ever see a speaker get on stage and he's able to speak for 10, 15, 20 minutes, right? He's got nothing in front of him. You know, if I'm talking, I could go in one direction or not. But this speaker has somewhere, or practice, rehearsed, or maybe where you don't see laying in front of him, kind of like cliff notes. I'm going to touch on these, I'm going to touch on these, I'm going to touch on these. A sales call, even if the person that you're talking to is steering the car off the road over and over again, right? You still have a path, right? So your path is normally this, right? So you first need their attention. Because in the first 30 seconds of the phone call, if I misspell something, you can laugh, it's fine. And I do that often. So if you don't grab their attention, get their trust, have them listening in the first 10 seconds, you're probably in trouble, right? So attention or greeting is going to be super important, right? I'm going to spell. So that's number one, right? The next thing in most sales scripts is they want to know what? Who they're talking to, right? They want to know about you, your brokerage, right? So they want to know who, right? Who are you? So she gave you sales scripts. Some of them were awesome, right? There was a couple in there that I saw that talked about the brokerage, if you're fairly new, because you don't want to say, I've done 0 transactions. I've been doing this like 10 minutes. Sorry, guys. Right?
And you don't want to lie either.
Correct, and you don't want to lie. Even better. So then what you say is, hey, I work for one of the leading brokerages. I promise you that the company that I work for and myself will take awesome care of you, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay? So you want to be able to tell them who you are, right? The next thing is benefit, right? I love you guys, and I'm sure all your clients love you, and I'm sure it goes great. But in our world, it's a bottom line kind of thing, right? What is the benefit? So when I was selling magazines, it was monetary benefit. When I was selling signs, it was marketing and presence and how to capture clients. Now with mortgages, it goes back to affordability and on the refinance side, monetary value. What is this client going to get? And I just picked up some of those notes, right? I can tell you right now that 15% statistic is pretty awesome, right? And here's another one that we don't kind of talk about. Can't find this spell. Okay? So that's kind of important, right? So you touch on what are the benefits, okay? At this stage, right, you've talked to them, they know who you are, right? You've got their attention, right? You've talked about the benefits, right? You have to engage clients in the conversation, right? So at this stage, I call this kind of like a promise, okay? And that's if I, right, will you. Is that fair? It's called action, okay? So I'll go through this really quickly once I get done to try to tidy it all up, right? And then number 5, pretty easy, is handshake, because we need that. And then number 6 is a special one. I'll go over really fast. I am not spelling this right, but it's okay. I do charge for these classes sometimes. I'm not charging today. Okay, so then you go over the promise, right? If I, will you, right? And then the last part is a handshake, right? So I say something in regards to, you know, so-and-so, if I deliver this product, if I sell your home, and you're able to net what you need, and I do a great job, and I show you that I care about you, and we do this transaction quickly, I take the stress off your hands and make this an enjoyable process, which you never thought selling your home could be fun or enjoyable. I'm going to show you how to do that. If I can do those things, right, will you sit down, game plan with me on maybe how to get your listing, or how to like show your home for free, 10 or 15 minutes, I promise I'll bring something of value. Can we meet today at 5? And they'll say something, right? Sure. So it's a handshake. You're asking for the deal, right? Because if you don't ask for the deal, what happens?
You're not going to get it.
You're not going to get it most times. You got to ask, right? So you ask for kind of a handshake. This last one is super important. I'll go over that in a second. But I'm going to go through this real quick, right? I'm not a realtor by any stretch of the imagination, right? In some of your scripts, I would do kind of this in the scripts. I would go through the scripts and I would box stuff that I love, stretch stuff. So if this is a word that's important, write a big arch underneath it to slow your pattern down, control your tone, right? X out stuff, Some of the stuff you may not feel comfortable or you may not like, and make it your own. Highlight, elongate, and redact in the script. Best way you can do it, so it becomes yours, right? So I say, hey Aaron, this is Jaron with FLR. You're probably wondering what FLR is. It's the best real estate company in your area. I work for a great brokerage. I know you probably get phone calls all the time. I'd like to see if I could borrow your ear for just 3 minutes. I promise to bring something of value. If not, don't worry. You can hang the phone up at any point in time. Can I have 3 minutes? And they say something.
Yes, of course you can have 3
Ask
minutes.
for time. Very important. And they say, you can have more time. And I said, great. So who am I, right? So my name is Jaron. I'm super awesome. Again, like I told you, I work for FLR, greatest real estate brokerage out there, right? And what I do is I talk to people who either have expired contracts, who weren't able to sell their home, and it hurts, right? And I also talk to people that maybe are trying to do it themselves. There's nothing wrong with either one of those scenarios. But here's what impacts me. I care about people in my community, and I care about you. Aaron, you and your family are very important to me. You'll find out about me later on and why that is, but I promise you, you'll always be important. So what we're looking today is to kind of quickly go over how I feel like I can impact you and your family. And these are the things that I can do. People sell their homes all the time. I completely understand why you would, or I saw that your contract expired. I'm so sorry that happened to you. Here are the things that maybe I can do for you. And you go over the benefits. Statistics say that if you use a realtor, you're gonna get 15% more. That's a statistic, it's 85%, it's huge. So you could be extremely right that doing it yourself the right way, but statistically speaking, you should at least have a sit down and a coffee with me. So let's kind of go over how I can do that. The other thing about me handling your listing, right, or your contract, is that it's gonna let you focus on what's important, your family, right? It's gonna let you get back to work. It's gonna let you, take bubble baths and drink wine and not have to worry about this. Let me, the expert, take the handle, the weight and the stress, and take that off of you so you can have a better quality of life as you're going through this transition, right? And then you go to this. So if we sit down today and I show you how I think I can game plan on how to get this done, and we align as people and our business plan align great, you think that maybe I have a shot that you could possibly use me. And they say something, right? And then if they say yes or no, you go into kind of the handshake. You need to ask questions as you go through this, but you also rebuttals, or when people say something like, my cousin's a realtor, right? Pretty tough one, right? Listen, Aaron, I would never want to take business from your family, right? That's not what this is about, right? What this is about is that I see something that's telling me that there could be a pain point, right? You didn't get the household, you're trying to do it yourself, it's taken a long time, you're dealing with the stress, and I just care about you. So, I have no problem with me, you, and your cousin meeting up. We can all discuss it. Maybe we can actually team up together as an awesome team and get this done. Maybe we discuss different things that I can do for you that your cousin's not able to do. So the last thing I want to do is take money, right, or an opportunity away from somebody, but I would still like to meet with you and game plan, because I promise you I can bring you something of value. Is that okay? So the important thing is that if there are any parts of a rebuttal, they say no. Guys, no is always awesome. No is awesome. No is best. It lets you either move on or it lets you do what? Address the problem, right? Maybe, I don't know, silence, crickets, tumbleweeds. That's really bad, because now you have no idea what you're up against. So this little baby is probably more for that. So let's say you talk to them and you're not getting the sale, right? You're on the phone 5, 10 minutes, 15, whatever, right? And you're not getting the sale, right? They're not giving you the rebuttals, or they're saying, oh, well, I got another meeting, or hey, I want to talk to her about it. Let me talk to my wife, or let me think about it, right? Does anyone know who Columbo is? Mm-hmm. Anyone old enough in this room? It's a detective on TV way back when. I always had a cigar in his mouth, right? Always talk. And what this guy did at the end of every episode is he would come back through the door, kind of like Kramer, boom, right? And he would say, oh, well, I couldn't quite figure it out. It was a hard case, and blah, blah, blah. He's a detective. And he would go to walk out of the room, and he would put his hand on the doorknob almost every single episode, right? And then he'd turn him back around, and he'd go,
I got it.
Aaron, I want to ask you a question. And he would ask this question that was said on this tirade that he knew the whole time that Aaron was the murderer, or whatever it was, right? So we call it a Columbo close in sales because it's super important, right? You're not getting the sale, right? But you don't know why. So you say something like this, and you can make it important, but there's one really key phrase that's worth $1 million. If you ever spend money, this phrase will solve half of your problems, right? So I say, Aaron, I said, we talked today, and you seem to like me, right? I said, like you, right? Okay, and you seem to like my company, right? My company sounds cool, right?
Awesome.
They're almost always going to say yes, right? And then from there, you're going to say, so if you liked me and if you liked the company, was it something about, the dollar amounts or the money that just wasn't adding up? Is there something that we need to address that you didn't quite understand? Was it something wrong with me listing your home? And they're going to say one of two things. We'll either give you new information you didn't have, or Aaron's going to say, no, what really wasn't that. So you go, okay, so it wasn't me, it wasn't the company, I kind of have this problem. If it wasn't me, it wasn't the company, and it wasn't what I'm selling or getting the job done, can I just ask, and maybe you can help me, I've spent this time to you today, and I want to leave you alone in peace, but what would need to exist, right, for us to work together, for us to list your home? For me to at least just come sit with you for 10 minutes and go over a game plan or an action plan. What would need to exist for that to work for you today? And they are going to answer with something. Worst case scenario, right? They're going to give you insight onto why you couldn't sell it. If the answer is strong enough from them or enough impactful, you take a note, say, cool, I understand, I can call you back, we'll address that later. That's if they're screaming and cursing at you, like I've had that, right? So the Columbo close is just a way to address yourself, the company, and what you're offering, find out what the problem is, and circle back into the sale. And that phrase, and you can't change it, it has to be that way, is what would need to exist for us to have a coffee, for us to meet, for me to possibly show you a net on the proceeds of me listing it at $250 or whatever the conversation was. So the Columbo close is a great way to refresh that sales pitch, and it works like crazy. Also notice that nowhere in here was I ever aggressive. Like I never challenge. You never want to challenge. Anyone know what a pendulum sale is? I should charge. I could totally charge this. So everyone knows what a pendulum is, right? It's this weird. It's like this thing that's like this, and it goes like this, right? And it goes just back and forth and back and forth, right? And it just swings this way and this way, right? So in pendulum sales, it says never, ever, ever argue with somebody. Ever. They are always right. It's great in marriages, by the way, too, just to let you know. So Aaron, right, says something really aggressive. There is no way I'm ever going to use you. And I go, oh no, man, I screwed up. I must have done something really bad for you to feel that way. I'm so sorry. I really apologize for that. I'm sorry that I offended you or that I upset you today. Right? So what I've done now is instead of arguing with that back and forth, hey, I provided great service, I did this, I did that, right? I put myself with Aaron away from the swinging giant sword, right? And now I'm actually with Aaron yelling at myself. Yeah. Where can Aaron take this conversation? She can't yell at me anymore. I've already done the infliction, right? There's nothing she can say or hurts me. Now I'm on her side and she doesn't even realize it. So I say, yeah, I screwed this up, I'm so bad, I'm such an idiot, I did so wrong, blah, blah, blah. I get on her side and then I immediately say, how can I fix it? What would need to exist for me to make this right now? Because I care about you, I care about the situation, and my goal is to always be awesome and to provide luxury service. And you just ask the question again. So whatever their rebuttal is, oh no, by the way, guys, is really awesome. You could say the meanest thing ever. I hate you. Oh no. I have now literally feminized the situation, got on their side. I wasn't aggressive, right? I didn't argue back because I don't care. Why would I want to argue? In sales, it doesn't matter who's right because it's always the client who's right every single time, right? So try to think of that pendulum next time you have a confrontation or a problem. And that phrase, what would need to exist, guys, it will help you book more sales or understand why you're not booking a sale more than anything else in the world. And then the last thing I'll leave you guys with, that's something you can, so back to this. So on the sales path, I would literally write this down as you're going through your scripts and just go through.
No, don't erase it.
Take a picture.
Does that make sense? Like, you don't need to read off a sheet. You're dealing with human beings, right? If you're ever freaked out, right, you just go, oh my God, it's terrible, right? Just do this. Ask why. Ask open question. Okay, why do you feel that way? Or how can I fix that? How can I address that? Let them talk. In sales, British people are great. That's why British people are the best sales ever. They're taught to let people exhaust themselves. Do anyone know what a pregnant pause is?
Something in the air. There's something in the air.
Sure.
It's not said.
Shutting up and let the other person talk first. First one to talk loses.
Oh, okay.
Right? So we're having a conversation, we're having some dialogue. Instead of speaking over, I ask an open open-ended question. I be quiet. I let you answer, and I listen. Sales guys is like 90% listening, right? Unless you're, in front of a group like this. So you ask the question, and then you be quiet. Let them answer it, and then the pregnant pause comes after that. Because a lot of times if somebody answers something, they're only going to give you a partial answer. And if you're just quiet for another 10 seconds, right, they'll give you more.
Oh, because a lot of people don't like that.
They don't like the silence. Freaks them out. And I'm telling you, if you have any British friends, next time you hang out with them, watch what they do. I don't know, they teach it in grade school or something over there. It's magical. So, write out a sales path, a cliff notes for every single one of your conversations, and never be scared. Read the scripts, learn the scripts. There's some awesome stuff in there Sharice is giving to you. You should totally memorize and use them a lot. But build them into building blocks that come second nature in practice. You gotta eat, shower, toilet, drive, whatever, video, whatever you want to do. But just be very comfortable that no matter what happens, no matter what they say, that you're always able to steer it back to the components of what you're trying to do. Okay, we were talking, he started going off crazy about how he hated me or didn't like me or how his sister was a realtor and a scumbag or whatever. I've got to get back to the benefits quickly. Somehow I've got to tie this conversation back into where I'm trying to go. Because you don't want to control the client, you want to control the conversation, the target, where we're going on this road. You can swerve left and right and back and forth. And then this other thing, I don't know where to write it. I'll write it down here, I guess. If I can. And I'm definitely going to misspell this.
Just spelled it right.
It happens sometimes by accident. Has anyone ever seen this? In a sales dialogue, rapport building, someone's upset, right? Especially on a FSBO or expired contract, guys, there is pain there. Somebody asked something while we were talking, said, why did they call me? Like if they had this taken care of, why would they call me? I don't know who it was. Good question.
Yeah.
You should have asked it. You should have known that someone's not going to pick up the phone, talk to you, go through that, have you sit down on the third sitting, right? If there isn't something missing that everybody else missed. And you know what's crazy, guys? The more honest you are, the better. You literally can say that. Hey, Nikki, I see that you love the other realtors, right? But you took this appointment with me. I'm third in line now, right? So I kind of just want to know, right? Why'd you take the sitting? Like, why have 3 in line? I feel like you might have missed something on the first and second. And they're wonderful people. And I get that. And you're loyal. Nothing makes me happier than a loyal client. So trust me, I don't want you to ever change, Nikki. But can I just ask, what did they possibly miss? And what would need to exist to get you from third into first, or align